People, welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV, back with another live stream. Happy Eberici Eze Day, people. The day that Eze becomes an Arsenal player, which is a great day always when you're signing a player of that level. Big up to everyone locked in. We got a lot to talk about. We got a game tomorrow against Leeds, a game that I think we all expect to win and we should win. But we have to prove that we're going to win it, and we want to see a performance as well. I think Manchester United was just about 3 points. I think Leeds at home has to be about playing well as winning tomorrow and a few goals, hopefully. Obviously, we play Liverpool next weekend, which is a massive game, but they need to concentrate and put in a good performance against Leeds tomorrow. That's a 5:30 kickoff, so I'll be live an hour before kickoff. So I'll be on stream at 4:30 tomorrow. Make sure you lock in for that one, and we'll be doing Liverpool on Monday night as well against Newcastle, which will be a real battle, I'm sure. But big up to everyone on this Friday. Do me a favor, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and we'll get into it, man. I tell you what, I've spoken to a few people over the last couple of days, man, and everyone's just like, yo, what you saying, man? Eze. I said, yeah, man. This one's proper. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm intrigued to see how he works in the Arsenal team with Mikel Arteta coaching him, probably playing him on the left-hand side, which isn't ideal, but he does kind of play left 10, left 8 for Palace. So left wing is only maybe another 5-10 yards further wide. If you get an overlapping fullback, maybe you can tuck him in as well. So, but when you look at his goals and you look at his highlights, he's got something that we lack. And it is that individual brilliance. It is that sort of ability to just it glides past people. You know, he shoots from distance. I just hope we don't take that out of him. I hope that Arteta allows him to be the player that he is. You don't sign an individual talent like that and then try and harness him with a system. But we've seen Pep do it with players like Jack Grealish. You know, I think Grealish was a far better player at Villa than City. But listen, massive signing, definitely a feel-good factor. South London Finest said more hyped about Eze than Gyökeres. Ooh, that's a good one. Different. It's a different one, isn't it? I'm more excited to watch Eze play than Gyökeres. Because, yeah, man, he's that street baller. But I did love the Gyökeres signing just because it was finally the striker, finally no more Havertz up front. But, yeah, the street element of Eze makes it, and he's an Arsenal fan and he's skillful. It's similar. It's different. I was going mad about Gyökeres just because I knew we had a gunman. This one is the flair. This one is the skill. Yeah, Eze's the streets, man. You know what I mean? It's a different one, but the window's livening up, man. It is. I do want one more signing. I know I'm being a bit greedy, and some people are putting in the comments yesterday, we haven't even signed Eze yet, and you're asking for another player. I want us to win the league title, people. Like, I want us to win the title. I'm sick of coming second in the Premier League and not even getting to Wembley for an FA Cup final. Like, Arsenal have to win. I think Dre just said it there. Arteta, it's on you now, bro. You're out of excuses. Do you know what I'm saying? You're out. I was talking about Grand Theft Auto yesterday. You know, when the stars on the wanted level used to go up and you had all the little cheat codes on the piece of paper, up, down, left, right, R1, R2, and then the helicopter would just disappear. Arteta, you're playing with no cheat codes now, bro. You can't say I haven't had enough time. You can't say I haven't had enough money. Everything's there. You needed a goal scorer, you got it. You needed a ball playing six, you've got it. You wanted a player with individual brilliance, you've got it. What can possibly be the excuse for him not being successful this season? Now, we've got different expectations about what that success looks like. Some people are saying he's got to win the Prem or the Champions League, the two major ones. Some people saying he's just got to win a trophy, Carabao Cup or the FA Cup. Arsenal need to have a successful season. However that looks, whatever you feel that season needs to look like. To me, you can sign top players and still not win the league. And sometimes a team can just be better than you, because the argument will be Liverpool finished 10 points clear. And if they get Isak, they've probably had a better window than us. But he has to win something. I can't give him the excuse of leaving us trophyless with this squad. You're wasting the team if you're not winning trophies with this team. Saka, Eze, and Gyökeres as a front three is a trophy winning front three. Do you know what I mean? It's a trophy winning front three. And I'm excited. I'm excited for the season. I can genuinely say, for the first time in a long time, they have made signings that have made me excited to watch Arsenal play. The Declan Rice summer, I was so happy with that signing, but I felt they messed it up with a Havertz signing, and we didn't get the attacking player that we needed in that window. This year, to have added Eze and Gyökeres and Zubimendi, I am genuinely excited to watch Arsenal play football. I hope we'll have an exciting season this season, and I hope we're successful. I hope we win things. It's all now down to Arteta working that team properly. Will he go to 22-23 football? I don't think he will. I think 23-24 from about Christmas, we started to play. Remember when we went, I think we went to Dubai that summer, that winter, sorry. And we came back and went on a fantastic run and we crumbled at the end. So I don't think you will ever see 22-23 football under Arteta. But I think if you can get that second half of 23-24 where we were defensively solid, but we were attacking and scoring goals, I think that would be better than what we saw 24-25, which at times was just tedious and quite boring to watch. I think when you've got a goalkeeper that's won 2 Golden Gloves, you've got a back four that's had back-to-back lowest goals conceded, you've got a defensive midfielder, 2 if you include Rice, there is no reason that Odegaard, the 2 wingers and the striker should not have the freedom to go and attack, stay high and score goals. So listen, Arsenal fans, I think there's a real feel-good factor around at the moment. We got Gyökeres. We beat Manchester United. We're signing Eze. Everyone's buzzing about this Eze deal. Leeds tomorrow, hoping for a good performance and a good victory. Carnival weekend coming up, and you've got Liverpool coming up, which is going to be a massive game. And just part of me feels like we've got to beat Liverpool at Anfield. I don't know. I think certain times, if we go to Anfield next week and draw, I would probably take that. I'll be honest. But certain times to win a title, you've got to go and beat them. Like Arsenal used to go to Old Trafford certain times and beat them in a title race. Will Todd, you know what I mean? Something's just telling me we've got to go and beat Liverpool at Anfield next week. Listen, a draw wouldn't be a bad result, but I just got this feeling that if we're going to let people know what we're about, you got to go Anfield and clip them up. We just heard that Frimpong's out injured for Liverpool. They'll probably play Gomez or Bradley, I would imagine, at right back. That could be Eze's debut. So we'll see. I mean, that's just how I feel right now. I feel like we got to go to Anfield with the belief that, we're here to collect. We're here to get 3 points. The bailiffs are at the door. We need the sofa, the TV, and the PlayStation 5, As I said, for me, I would love to see Eze playing in that sort of attacking midfield role. But they are gonna stick with Odegaard. I think we all know that. Oh, Bradley's injured as well. Probably Joe Gomez. Joe Gomez actually a very good 1v1 defender. But you would imagine he's not fully fit as he hasn't been playing. So yeah, be interesting. No Frimpong, so let's see how that changes the balance. Right, let's talk. There's only one. In fact, before we do talk about that play, I had this. I thought I'd bring this up. The ratings for, I still call it FIFA. I'm old school. EAFC just doesn't roll properly for me. I'm still calling it FIFA. These apparently are the leaked, I'm calling it FIFA. FIFA 26 ratings for Arsenal. For my gamers in the chat, Ain't it nice to see some high ratings, man? According to this, we got 5 88 rated players, which is crazy. Saka, Odegaard, Rice, Saliba, and Gabriel, all 88 rated. Gyökeres, 87 rated. David Raya, 86. Marino, 85. Zubamendi, 83. Trossard, 82. And Havertz, 82. Martinelli, 82. Timber, 81. Are you mad? 80 pace. No, they've done him dirty there. Defending 82, they've done Timber dirty there. 81 rating, Timber. One of the best right backs in Europe. Jesus 81, Calafiori 80, Kepa 79, Madueke 79, not very good rating. Zinchenko at 78, Kivior 78, Lewis Skelly 78, Waneri 74, still a silver card as well. Them Gyökeres stats, I'm telling you, at the beginning of the game, yeah, no Ben White. What, they just took him off the game? 93 pace, 86 shooting, 92 physical. Let me tell you now, you pack that Gyökeres early in the game, you're cleaning up. You're cleaning up, people. I'm telling you, he'll be expensive. Was Odegaard higher than that this year? I don't even play it, so I don't know. Saka, 88 pace. Saliba, 88 rated. Marino's done well, really, to get an 85 rated card when Timber's at 81 rated. He better get an upgrade on that. Gyökeres, that gold card will be crazy. 83 rated Zubamendi. Mad. Odegaard was 89. And they downgraded. Apparently, Marcel said Bradley's back, so maybe. Bradley, whoever it is, we need to cook anyway, you know. But yeah, there's for my FIFA players, you know. Yeah, Waneri, man, silver card. Put some respect. One of the best young players in the Premier League, man. You lot ain't even give him a gold card, not even a common gold card. What's going on? Anyway, let's talk about it. Let's talk about the main man himself. Eberechi Eze, people. Obviously, I was potentially going to do a watch along for Palace last night. Within about 20 minutes of finishing yesterday's stream, it was announced that Eze wouldn't be playing for Palace. So there was no point doing a watch along. It was a boring 1-0 win for Palace anyway, which is a bit dangerous for them. They got the second leg. I'm thinking, yo, man, the way they was defending that other team, Palace, they're not definitely through, but Eberechi Eze. Fabrizio confirming this morning all documents are signed club to club for Eberechi Eze's move to Arsenal. He is undergoing his medical ahead of signature on the contract and registration, as it must happen before 12 p.m. to be eligible against Leeds. Now, he put that out this morning, I think about 10 o'clock. A lot of the reports that have come out this early afternoon have said that Eze will not complete his medical in time to play tomorrow. Arsenal train today. And it's unlikely that that deal will be done in time for him to play tomorrow. Which, listen, it would have been nice if he was playing, but with no training session, no time to settle in, I doubt very much he would have just thrown him in. But the deal has been agreed. All the documents are signed, and you're probably then looking at Eze's debut at Anfield, as you've said, AMSN. I mean, geez, of all the games, I suppose would you have rather his debut was tomorrow in an easier game where he can settle in, or you want to just throw him straight in? Now, I'm thinking from Arteta's point of view, would he start him at Anfield? You know, would he start him at Anfield? I would. He's going to have all week to train. I've seen Martinelli play. I'm not interested in seeing that. I'm really not. I'm going to keep it 100, people. I've watched Martinelli play football, and I'm not thinking, just ease Eze into the team because he's only just signed. Eze, for me, starts at Anfield. Eze, Gyökeres, Saka, let's do this. Let's do this. That's where I'm at. But I think the manager's quite cautious. I think he'll probably leave him out and bring him on late. Is an international break after. I think he'll take the time with him. Yeah, the left wing is stacked, but it's quantity rather than quality. That's the issue. Martinelli out of form. Noni Madueke, it's not his natural position. Trossard very inconsistent when he starts. So yeah, we've got numbers there, but we need We need that certified, you're the guy that starts there, not, oh, who do we play this week? Which one is it? We need that main guy there. And he's going to need a little bit of time to adapt. He's obviously, Crystal Palace play three at the back. We play a back four. It's going to be a little bit different. The second part of that story, in terms of Eze, who was actually at the Crystal Palace game yesterday, they saw him on Sky leaving. This is what the story's saying. Let me get my banner out the way. I'm blocking the top part of the story there. Arsenal are planning to present Eberechi Eze to the Emirates crowd as the new number 10. It has to be number 10, man. You can't have a shirt number like 10 empty for another season. Before Saturday's match versus Leeds, provided the scheduled medical tomorrow is completed successfully, Eze will be cleared to feature if the medical is finalised before the afternoon. This was said yesterday, but again, I don't think Eze will be involved tomorrow. But Eze 10 is heading to the carpet. It's only right, people. It's only right. They should do a madness with that announcement video, man. I'm telling you, they should get Ian Wright in for that one. The Crystal Palace Arsenal link. Maybe even get Sol Campbell out, get Sol Campbell. Thought he was going to Tottenham. Nah, they wouldn't do that. They wouldn't do that. It's going to be interesting. Taking it easy like Sunday morning. Let's go, people. Play 2 10s like Lisbon. I'm so intrigued to see how Mikel Arteta uses Eze in this team. Because Eze really could start left wing for us. He could start in that Odegaard role, which is more of a 10 attacking midfielder. I think he could play left 8, even where Declan Rice is playing at the moment. What's very interesting, the Athletic have put a story out today. A lot of people were saying that the Trossard contract was linked to the Havertz injury. So Havertz got injured and they said, give Trossard a new deal. The Athletic are actually saying today that the Havertz injury was more related to the Eze signing. Because if you look at the timeline, Havertz was injured on Sunday at the game against Manchester United, right? They said he came off the pitch, felt uncomfortable, and obviously the injury, we're waiting to find out with that situation how long he's going to be out for. The manager still hasn't announced that, to be honest. And then they announced the Trossard contract. So the time frame, what I'm saying is the time frame was too close. Like Havertz got injured Sunday, Trossard's deal was Tuesday. So they're now saying that the Trossard deal was it had been in agreement for a little while, that they were talking about the new deal. Now, we're hearing now that Arsenal had an agreement from the 10th of August for Eze, which was the evening of the Charity Shield. So Arsenal, and this is what Berta does, innit, which is a bit crazy. He agrees deals and then leaves them there, which is a bit mad, really, and a bit risky, you would think. So he gets deals done and then just walks away and says, right, that's there. I'll revisit that when I need it. And what they're now saying is once Havertz got injured, Arsenal went back to the market. And the story says they were looking at the striker market and thought, you know what? Getting a short-term deal, a striker on loan, or a cheap striker is not going to benefit the club when you've got Gyökeres, you've got Havertz, you've got Jesus all getting 200 grand a week plus. So what the club have done is said, right, let's sign Eze, because Eze then can play left 8, which would enable Marino to go up front. It also gives Trossard the ability to go up front. So effectively, for the next few months, it's going to be Gyökeres, Marino, and Trossard as our striker options. So they've brought Eze in to sort of free those two up to be backup players to Gyökeres. So that's what they're saying. They're saying that Havertz injury has no link to the Trossard deal. The Havertz injury made them pull the trigger on Eze. And it all sort of fell into place at the right time. I mean, listen, we don't ever wish injury on one of our own players, but it's just crazy how it happened. Havertz gets injured on Sunday. PFA Awards is on Tuesday. And Josh Kroenke's in the country at the time that's happening, and they're saying that they had face-to-face conversations with Josh to say, look, Havertz is injured, we need another attacking player, we've got the deal ready to go for Eberechi Eze, we think he's a top player, we just need you to sign this off before you go back to America. And Josh signed the deal off, which is what I said yesterday, and something you will not hear very often with me. You've got to give some credit. Number one, to Andrea Berta for having that deal done and just having it in the desk and saying, when we need it, we can do it. We have to give Mikel Arteta some credit, because whatever we think of Arteta, he identified Eze as a talent to buy. And Josh Kroenke pulled the trigger. And I honestly think Josh has a very different attitude towards Arsenal than Stan. I really do. And I've seen him and the way he is with Arteta. I think they're genuine friends. And I think Josh wants to prove that he can win something major at Arsenal. And listen, whatever we think about the Kroenkes, and I think Stan's been a disgraceful owner at Arsenal over the years, but we're now closing in on £1 billion for Arteta. We're now closing in on £1 billion. So I think there's a rumor or a story going around that since Arteta's been in the Premier League, he's spent more than Pep. Not Pep overall time in the Premier League, but since Arteta arrived, he's spent more money than Pep Guardiola. So, and the thing is, when I met Josh, I said one thing to him. I said, hi, we need our Jokic. For those that don't know, obviously the Kroenkes own the Denver Nuggets. Jokic, one of the biggest basketball players in the world in terms of wages and status. I said, we need our Jokic. Now, you could argue that Gyökeres could be our Jokic, Eze could be our Jokic in terms of that star player. So what I like about this summer is you've added star quality to this team. Now it's about proving yourselves and doing the job. How bad does it make last year's window look? You look at the excitement we've got for this window. Look at last year's window. When I was walking around here saying 2 out of 10, window's a disgrace. The only good thing about last year's window was selling Eddie and Nketiah for 35 million. When you compare this window to last year's window might be a 0.5 out of 10. It might be one of the worst transfer windows we've had in about a decade. You can't finish second in a Premier League and go and buy Marino, Calafiori, Sterling and Neto and think that's an acceptable window. And people out there were giving it 7s and 8s out of 10. It's unbelievable when you look back at it that people accepted that window and gave it a high rating. This is what I'm saying often about content creators and people with a platform. You've got to be honest. People were giving that window 7 and 8 out of 10, knowing that window was a disgrace. And they got away with it. And they messed up our season. And then January, they did nothing. Forest have got Douglas Luiz on loan. I think that's a fantastic signing. Fantastic. And this is why I've said, even though I like this window, I think Norgaard should have been Paulinho or Douglas Luiz. I think they were both better players and both coming on loan as well. We wanted Douglas Luiz a couple of years ago. What would you guys rate this window? What would you rate this window out of 10? I was asked this question last night. I'm probably at 7.5. What would you guys say? People have been messaging me, it's 9 out of 10. For me, it's not a 9 out of 10. I'm probably at 7.5. I'm probably at 7.5. What are you guys saying? Matt agrees. Dre says 7. 6.5. Wow. 8. 6, 7. 6, 7. 8. 9 all day, says Keegs. 7. I'm just always intrigued because I've seen people rate a 9. I'm like, is it a 9? I'm at 7.5, man. And I'll tell you my explanation for why I think it is a 7.5. To me, Kepa, Mosquera, Norgaard, Madueke, those 4 signings have very minimal effect on the window. I actually think Kepa for 5 million is a good signing as a backup keeper, right? There aren't many good backup keepers in the Prem. You saw that with Man United's keeper the other day. He's absolutely shocking. So I think Kepa for 5 million as a backup's decent. Mosquera looks lively. I haven't seen enough of him to really rate that deal. Norgaard, for me, I wouldn't have signed him. I'm going to be honest. I wouldn't have signed Norgaard. I actually think he looked okay in pre-season, but I think that Paulinho and Douglas Luiz were far better players, and they've signed on loan with options to buy. So I wouldn't have signed Norgaard, and I definitely would not have signed Noni Madueke. Right, I just wouldn't. I just wouldn't. I would have gone for Mohamed Kudus every single day of the week over Noni Madueke. So Madueke and Norgaard for me kind of that could be a minus. I'm going to be honest. You then bring in Gyökeres. Yeah, that's boosting the window massively, right? That's the striker. That's one of the top three strikers I wanted. I wanted Isak, Osimhen, or Gyökeres. So that boosts it. Zubimendi boosts it a little bit. Zubimendi's very good on the ball, but is Zubimendi a better player than Thomas Partey? I think in some ways he is. In some ways, he isn't. I think physically, he's not as good as him. On the ball, maybe he's better than him, but time will tell with that one. So it's hard for me to boost that too much with Zubimendi. And then, yeah, Eze boosts the window as well. So I would genuinely probably give 2 or 3 out of 10 to Gyökeres, 2 or 3 out of 10 to Eze, probably 1.5 to Zubimendi. The rest don't really register that much for me. Mosquera might surprise me. I think he might end up being a good player. I haven't seen enough of it. I'm at 7.5. You bring in a Rodrygo, someone like that, then I can have conversations about 9 out of 10. And we haven't sold either. And that does come back to bite you at some stage. You know, the balancing of the books needs to happen. Jonathan said Zubimendi is absolutely an upgrade on Partey. Listen, you might have watched Zubimendi more than me. So I'm prepared to accept that from the community if people think he's definitely better. What I've seen so far, I still need to see more to say that he's better than Partey. I think people have to understand, listen, whatever's happened off the pitch potentially with Partey, people have to remember how good he is. You know, when he got suspended against PSG, we went into meltdown. Declan Rice was going mad at him at the Bernabeu because he knew him not playing was going to make a huge difference. And it did. We got cooked at home. We didn't control the game. So I'm at 7.5. Listen, some people think that's harsh. I think that's still a high rating. 7.5 is a very good window for us. I rated last year's at 3 out of 10. So listen, and that can change, by the way. Zubimendi might settle into this team and start absolutely balling, and I'm going, yo, this is an 8 out of 10 window. Eze might come into this team and look unbelievable, even playing off the left, and I'm saying, boy, this is 8.5. Mosquera might look like a tank, and I say it's a 9. So that window can move even with what we've done. I'm just saying, for me right now, where it feels, I'll give it a 7.5. Coolio said, thank you, Curtis. I've been through a lot. I was not allowed to have a BSL interpreter for the English exam. They didn't tell me why. I'm not even too sure what that is, bro. But as I said to you, man, don't worry about it. You can still, exam results aren't everything. People, it's 7.5 harsh. It's 7.5 harsh. Like you said, Rory, you win a trophy, I might say, oh, 9, 10 out of 10 window. You know what I mean? The ingredients are there. You've been to the supermarket. We've bought the ingredients. I need to know if this guy, if this Chef Arteta can cook the meal. I haven't seen him cook yet. Do you know what I mean? I haven't seen this guy cook. That's where I'm at. 7.5. It's way above average. Oh, British Sign Language. Okay, Coolio. My bad, bro. No, it's generous. The cake is in the oven. Yeah, I need to see the result, bro, in May. You know what I mean? 7.5. You want to add a Rodrygo, then come back and we'll talk about 9, 9.5, whatever. As I said, for me, My overall look of the Arsenal team right now is goalkeeper. Listen, he's not the best goalkeeper in the league, but he's good, right? He can get a golden glove. I'm not concerned about Rail. If we were being super, like, if you said to me right now, you can go and buy Donnarumma for 25 million, I would potentially do that deal. I'll be honest with you. That guy, he's not as good on the ball as Raya, but he's a monster. But we're not going to do that, right? Back four, still not totally sure about left back. Calafiori makes me nervous. Lewis Skelly didn't have a great preseason. In an ideal world, if you could get me a top quality left back, would I potentially do that? Yes, I would. Midfield for me at the moment is one big question mark. Is Zubimendi going to be great in that role in the Premier League? Second of all, is Declan Rice in a left 8 role going to be top quality over the whole season? And thirdly, can Martin Odegaard get his form back? So all three of those players have a question mark on them. Can Zubimendi adapt? Can Declan Rice play in that role? Can Martin Odegaard get his form back? 3 question marks in midfield. Most teams do not have question marks in their midfield, right? You look at Liverpool, you know Gravenberch's going to ball out. You know that McAllister's going to ball out. There's probably a question mark over Wirtz if he adapts, right? I then look at the front three and go, can Eze adapt to playing left wing in a team with an inverted left back? That's a question mark, not over his ability, but over his role in the team. Can Gyökeres get the service that he's required to score those goals? So that is a question mark. And that is the reason I'm still at 7.5, because we've got things that need to click into place for us to have a successful season. A few things need to adapt for it to work. If it does work, we could be in the promised land on the yellow brick road, Wizard of Oz settings. But things are going to need to adapt for it to work. Where this would be my best way of asking you how good the window is. Anybody that's put 9 out of 10 in the window, surely you expect us to win the Premier League then. I've given you 7.5. I think that's a good window. I think this is a very good window, 7.5. My answer to my own question is, do you think Arsenal will win the Premier League? I'm still not sure. If I thought Arsenal were going to win the Premier League, I'd give it 9 out of 10. Because I think a 9 out of 10 window should make you win the Premier League. I'm still not sure whether we'll win the Premier League, and that's probably because of the manager. Because Curtis, you're being greedy. Bro, we've waited 21 years. No one can tell Arsenal fans we're greedy, bro. We're not. We're starving. We're starving. We need to win the Prem. Curtis will win the league. I like that optimism. I love that optimism. I hope we do. People, honestly, 7.5 for me is a very good window. You know, I gave 3 out of 10 last year. We've come a long way. You drop one more in there, we can have a conversation about 9 out of 10. That's one of my biggest ever windows at Arsenal. Certainly in the Emirates era. I ain't seen a title since 04, bro. I'm not greedy. I'm starving. You know what I mean? Should we loan Nwaneri to Palace? He shouldn't be getting loaned anywhere. Let's be honest. The guy is a super talent. The problem is he going to get enough game time to develop? If you look at Reece Nelson, Reece was rated higher than Saka in the youth team. He was the original star boy. But they didn't develop him properly because they didn't want to loan him. They tried to keep him around, didn't play him enough, and he didn't develop. Then they've tried to loan him later in his career. The loans haven't gone well. Now we probably end up getting sold. So you do have to balance it and say, Mikel's got to be honest with himself and say, listen, I've got Odegaard, I've got Eze, I've got Madueke and Saka. He's not going to play a lot. If Arteta thinks he's not going to play Nwaneri, he would be better off loaning him and letting him go and get 30 games somewhere else and develop. That's going to be a lot better for him. But with the talent level that he's got, I would like to see him playing for us and developing, because I think Waneri can be a top player. But lack of football can slow down development. So he's got to balance that. But I don't think they will loan him out. Nelly is getting hot in here. Now it's time to go. Nelly's under pressure, man. Under a lot of pressure. But will they sell him? I don't think they will. HR said we got squad depth now. Will you cover West Ham, Chelsea? Say what time's kickoff? 8 o'clock. Let me see. What time I'll be back. If I'm back in time, let's see if I get back in time. I reckon that's a Chelsea win, easy as well. West Ham are poor this season. Big up Black Gemini, man. I hope you're well, bro. English idiot, what a name, said Solon right in the vid for Eze would slap. Pause. I don't think Arsenal are ruthless enough to put Sol Campbell in the video. I would do it, but I've got that kind of personality, you know. I'm a bit ruthless. Eze's good. Eze's good. Eberiche's good. Well, yeah, oh, yeah. Michael's got a mad day. Everyone's trying to make up songs for him, right? Hyping Eze like he's Dino. You man never learn. MJ just for one day, man. Just relax, bro. MJ never chills, you know. Bro, just figure out whether Onana or Bayende is going to be in goal on Sunday, bro. I told you, you got bigger problems. Jaden says, big up to you, Curtis, on 100K. The best community on the app. On my way to my stag weekend with the fellas. Here's to bro. Enjoy, man. Enjoy. You know what, man? When you say that, I think to myself, like, on a stag weekend, where would you go? I feel like you got to go Vegas. Got to be Hangover the movie, ain't it? Got to go Vegas or. But yeah, man. Big up, man. Stag weekend is going to. Did you say a whole weekend? Oh my days. It's going to be carnage. Enjoy, man. Gorav said, will Eze sign and affect Waneri and Dalman's progress? If it does, it does, bro. You know when people say things, I can't sign him, it'll stop the progress. If you're good enough, you'll fight your way through that, bro. If Dalman, Waneri, you still get game time. Gunnerfan TV, Big C, I emailed you about help with StreamYard. I just started my channel. Gunnerfan TV needed some help with my watch along setup. I'll try and get back to you, bro. What I will say is, I mean, I don't know what you've said to me on the email, but a lot of people have asked me this question before. I don't know what your question says, so forgive me. But StreamYard, you can't really do anything on StreamYard. On a match day, I go through OBS and then you kind of run it through OBS into StreamYard to put the graphics in the background. So all those graphics, the score, the timer, all of that, you pretty much can't do any of that on StreamYard, right? You have to go through OBS and run it into StreamYard. So yeah, that's kind of what you've got to do. Miami, yeah, I mean, boy, man, I swear, certain stag weekends they'd put the wedding in doubt. That's the problem, Dre. You know what I'm saying? Miami for the weekend before the wedding. Jeez, man. Anyway, Samaz says we might go for Isak. Something not making sense. Berta is a smooth operator. Arteta, no, brother. I swear down, if we signed Isak, right, I would drive straight to the armory and I would clear out the shop. I'd come out of that shop looking like Ty. I'd have a woolly hat on, headphones, t-shirt, jacket, tracksuit bottoms, everything. Even if it's hot, I'm wearing a woolly hat and a coat. I dare him to sign Isak, honestly. You know, if we had a big bag of money right now, if Arsenal had the dough, you go to Newcastle, wouldn't you, and say, look, you've got a problem here. Your striker's going mental. At least give yourself some pleasure by not selling him to Liverpool. Sell him to us. At least you like us. Because Liverpool and Newcastle hate each other now all of a sudden. Imagine getting Isak. But that's the dream, innit? Then I'd be talking about 10 out of 10 window. Spuds won't pay 80 million for a defender, Martinelli. Oh, Saudis, sorry. I thought he said Spuds. Yeah, Martinelli, man. And would he even go to Saudi as well? That's the other thing. He's still quite young. Charles said Eze signing is important. It gives teams other problems to worry about, thereby freeing up Saka and Gyökeres. What wing? That wing he has offered nothing for too long. You're spot on. We said this all the time, man. As I said, I've got friends who've played in the Prem, and some who still do play in the Prem. And I remember one of them saying to me, he said, "You know, Klopp's Liverpool." He said, "You couldn't deal with it." I said, "Why?" He said, "You know, because you double up on Salah. You have to double up. You have to double up on Salah. Is that dangerous?" And he said, then you've got Mane on the other side, who's probably, he used to say Mane was probably more difficult to mark than Salah because he was just electric. And he said, then you're trying to double up on Mane on the other side. And that's four players marking two players. And then you've got Firmino, who's an absolute world beater in that false nine. You can't double up on him as well. That's six players. And he said you couldn't live with it. And he said the same thing about Man City. When City had Aguero, Sané, and Sterling, when Sterling and Sané were electric, he said you can't deal with that front three because you can't double up on three players. So if you're doubling up on Sané, Sterling's going to score at the back post. You double up on Sterling, Aguero's going to smash one in. And that's what Arsenal need. Too many times people go, double up on Saka, go 1v1 with Martinelli. No problem. That guy ain't going to do nothing. And Havertz is playing up front. He's going to drop deep anyway. He's a space invader. Now they're going to go, Saka, we got to double up on him. But Eze's drifting into pockets here. We don't know what's going on. And then Gyökeres is here, the gunman waiting to finish. We've actually got a front three. We've got a front three, people, like for the first time in how long? Big up my brother Potsy, man. He says, big up for 100K, my bro. Well deserved. Have an easy day, people. Have an Eze day. And big up Potsy on 50K, bro. That guy's numbers are flying through the roof. So big up man like Potsy. And we'll do a show in the next week or two as well. Big up Potsy, man. They're going mad at me because I've given 7.5 for the window. And people think should be giving it 9 out of 10. I think 7 point. I'm a 7.5 for me is a very good window. Very good window. I need one more signing. I'm sorry. I'm happy with Eze. I need one more, please. Rodrygo on deadline day, please, people. Is it too much to ask? 21 years, no title. Is Rodrygo too much to ask for? Just tell me. Anyway, I've basically waffled for 45 minutes, just talking about Eze and going on and on about the window. Let's talk about a few of the stories that have come out of the press conference. This man, see some people saying generous rating. Please tell me, and again, I have to be careful. I'll probably see this guy on tour. Tell me this guy doesn't look like Buzz Lightyear out of Toy Story. That is Buzz Lightyear when he takes off the shield or whatever. That's Buzz Lightyear, the big shit. I swear, Buzz to infinity and beyond. Potsy, what you saying? The window is 7.5. Come on, man. Player sales and Rodrygo. We ain't sold no one. Sell a couple players, 8 out of 10. Sign one more, 9.5. Come on, man. We know this. We need more room to maneuver. That is Buzz Lightyear, I'm telling you. My son used to have the toy action figure where you press the button. That is Buzz Lightyear, I'm telling you. Well, Buzz Lightyear is meant to be a strong action character, you know what I mean? Best chin in the Prem, I'm telling you. Brother, up on this chin here, man. Brother, that is Buzz Lightyear. I wish I could Photoshop that and put the Buzz Light. That's Buzz Lightyear. But anyway, Norgaard, he's injured out of nowhere. He's injured out of nowhere. I don't know what the problem is, but Mikel Arteta has said Norgaard is out of the squad, and he will be out for another week or so. That's all he said. Norgaard is out of the squad for tomorrow, and he will be out for another week or so. He then went on to say on Ben White's availability, let's see. He's not sure whether Ben White will be available tomorrow as well. He also then said about Jurriën Timber. Jurriën didn't train at the open training session during the week. We are having to manage the amount of training sessions he does due to him having surgery. We will try and give him a rest where possible. But Timber's probably going to have to play tomorrow if Ben White obviously has not trained as well. So you're probably looking at Timber right back tomorrow, and then obviously Saliba, Gabriel. I think he loves Calafiori. Calafiori just scored. He'll probably play Calafiori at left back. Yeah, it's an interesting one. I think he's going to have to be very careful how he manages some of these players this season. This is not a normal season. I think when you really break it down, yeah, and you look at last season, Gabriel had surgery, Ben White had surgery, Timber had surgery. Calafiori had multiple injuries, and Saliba finished the season injured. Basically, our whole back four was injured. Three of them had surgery. Gabriel, Timber, Ben White. You then go into midfield. Rice had a broken toe. Odegaard had an injury that seemed to destabilize him with his ankle. Saka had surgery. Havertz had surgery. May need surgery again. Martinelli pulled his hamstring, didn't tear it, but still bad. We had a lot of bad injuries last season. And now Havertz is injured, could be out for ages. So, Eros said, tell me Norgaard doesn't look like a young Fabio Capello. Oh, my days. That's crazy. I didn't even see that one. A young Fabio Capello. He just needs the glasses, right? Jorge said, if we sign Isak, would you start defending Stan and Josh? Maybe Josh, not Stan. Stan's done enough damage already, bro. But yeah, Norgaard will be out for a week or so, people. Norgaard will be out for a week or so. To be honest, our bench is stacked at the moment anyway. It's probably doing him a favour that he leaves somebody out who's got a knock. Let's talk about a couple of others. I tell you what, speaking of stories, I'm telling you, people, there's one more signing left. I'm not saying this is who we should buy, but the Sun today, and I don't rate the Sun newspaper, the Sun newspaper saying Arsenal are weighing up a swoop for Morgan Rodgers. Aston Villa value Rodgers at 80 million and are unlikely to entertain any offers below that price. I mean, listen, I don't even know where you play this guy if you sign him. But I'm telling you, the guy's a hell of a baller. I don't see this deal happening for 1 second. We ain't got no space in midfield, but where would you even play him? Like, I can't see that happening. I can't see it happening. I think you've got to go and get a winger. Can he play left wing? I think he can, but in a similar way to Eze, where like he drifts off the left. He's not an out-and-out left winger, is he? Yeah, Stam blocked all the money from Uzunov, yeah. And he had billions ready to go. I can't see that happening. I think it's paper talk. The Sun newspaper is trash, let's be honest. So I wouldn't buy too much into that one. HR said Rodrygo to Liverpool, Rodgers, Arsenal move possible. Let's have a look. Henry's not happy. He said he'd rather watch Goldbridge with what does that mean? With the most Arsenal creators. We signed 3 starters, strong backups, even one at Old Trafford, where we really perform. Listening to them, you'd think we've lost. Do you want me to tell you something, right? And this ain't aimed at anyone in particular, by the way, but there's like a tactic board at the moment on YouTube, right? There's certain tactics that work, and people will rinse and repeat it, rinse and repeat it, rinse and repeat it. So if you notice now, you've got content creators of other teams now suddenly doing watch-alongs and videos for Arsenal. And what do? They say every signing, well, it's a great signing. When we win, we're brilliant, we're scary, we're favourites for the league. We've been ripped off by PGMOL. The referees hate us. They feed into it. because they're considered an op. You're an op, bro. You support Man United or you support Tottenham or you support. So initially, Arsenal fans are not going to like them. But when they feed all of this positivity, oh, what a signing that is. That signing makes you favourites. That signing makes you scary. That signing is incredible. Or if we lose a game due to a refereeing decision, they'll go, the referee ripped you off. They hate Arsenal. Do you know what Arsenal fans are going to start doing? They'll go, I like this guy because this guy keeps defending Arsenal. And Arsenal are massive on social media. We are huge. We're absolutely massive. So if you start feeding positivity into the Arsenal fan base as a fan of another club, you're now going to get loads of fans, loads of views of those clubs. And then you'll look at some Arsenal fans, maybe even like me, and you'll go, boy, we just signed Eze and he's giving it 7.5. But these guys are giving it 9 out of 10. But the difference is, bro, I'm an Arsenal fan and I'm a realist when it comes to Arsenal. I'm not going to blame every defeat on PGMOL and the referees. I'm not going to say every signing is unbelievable. I'm not going to say we're title favourites because we've done this before and it hasn't led us nowhere. I don't want to create false hope and expectation amongst the fan base. I'm going to be real. Eze signing is outstanding. It gives us a chance of winning the Premier League. I'm seeing other guys. Oh, Eze makes you favourites. You're the favourites for the league. Does it really? We lost the league by 10 points. Liverpool signed Wirtz, Frimpong, Kirkez, Ekatike, and probably going to get Isak. Are we favourites to win the league? I don't think we are. But I think we've got a much better chance than we had before we'd signed Eberechi Eze and Gyökeres. So that's all I got to say on that, bro. As I said, I got nothing against anyone. Everyone's trying to eat. Everyone's trying to do well in the content space. I get it. If you've got a simple process there that you can hammer home and it works, fair play to you. You're never going to see me sit on this channel doing a Man United thing. Oh, Man United this, trying to get Man United fans to... No, bro, I'm an Arsenal fan. We'll do some content of other clubs, but, that's just not what I do. It's clickbaity and it just feeds into the hope merchants that want to think everything's positive and rosy in the garden. But anyway, big up yourself, Henry, Shaney says, big up Curtis, we come to win the league. Come on, Arsenal. Yeah, that's what we're here for. Norgaard, Squidward from SpongeBob, said SG. SpongeBob SquarePants, Alex said, Gyökeres looks like Odegaard's older bully brother. Yeah, that man on some Scandinavian link-up, Stick to what you do, Kurt. Said, listen, I will, bro. I do what I do. That other people do what they do, and everyone's got their own way of working. It's fair play, fair play. There's enough space for everyone to move and operate. Is what I always say. So, right, let's move on. I've been live for an hour. It's flown by. Rodrygo, please. You want a 9 out of 10 window from me? You drop this signing on deadline day. I'll put both hands up and surrender. 9 out of 10 window. Graham Bailey saying, I don't know how good. He used to be quite good, Graham Bailey, but he's saying a potential loan move for Rodrygo to Arsenal is still a possibility. Given the good relationship between Arsenal and Real Madrid, a deal could happen, especially if Rodrygo pushes for a transfer in the final 10 days of the window. Now, obviously, he was an unused substitute in the first game of the season and apparently wasn't happy, which you're not going to be. The guy's a top player. He's not expecting to be treated like that. He's clearly not at the forefront of Xabi Alonso's plans. Let's see what happens this weekend. Maybe if he doesn't come on again, window closing in about 10 days, he might think I need to do something. So World Cup year, man, you know how much the World Cup means to these Brazilian players. He's got to really think about whether he can afford to sit on Real Madrid's bench. They play on Sunday night away from home, Real Oviedo. So hopefully he doesn't come off the bench. I suppose the question you've got now with Rodrygo is how do you fit Rodrygo and Eze into the team without dropping Martin Odegaard, which Odegaard is droppable for me. I don't feel like he's droppable for Arteta. But I would love Arsenal to sign Rodrygo. I would love Arsenal to sign him. Good relations. I mean, when I've read the report, it's going back to the Odegaard deal that Arsenal at the time took him on loan and Real Madrid were happy with the way that loan went. And we obviously then signed him. You got to remember we took Dani Ceballos on loan. We've done deals in the past with Real Madrid as well. So they're saying there's a good relationship between the clubs, and Berta obviously was living in Madrid when he was at Atletico, and he knows all the people at Real. So, but they said we had a great relationship with Brighton, and we never got Caicedo, did we? So those relationships don't always help. A random clip said, "We're going to win the league. We're going to win the league." I hope so. I hope so, bro. But I still think a lot of things need to fall into place, is what I'm saying, for that to happen. I hope Isak doesn't go to Liverpool, by the way. That would be great. I still think it will happen. But we'll see what happens with Rodrygo, people. We'll see what happens with that one. Martinelli. And that's another thing. If you sign Rodrygo, you can't have Rodrygo, Martinelli, Trossard, Eze, Madueke. You've got about 5 wingers on the left. You would probably have to sell Martinelli somewhere to be able to bring him in. I can't believe this story, by the way. We're actually getting money for an Arsenal player. It's unbelievable. This is like an amazing moment. We just don't sell players. We don't accept cash. Cole Hine, who can forget that Dubai trophy, that mid-season Dubai trophy when he saved those penalties? Was it AC Milan or somebody like that? Cole Hine is on his way to Werder Bremen in Germany. Arsenal are going to sell him for £3 million, 3-year deal with a 1-year option. The Estonian international goalkeeper will join Werder Bremen for £3 million. £3 million sounds cheap again. Hine, main search was for game time, now found at Bremen to be their #1 goalkeeper. Arsenal fund their second sale. Wow, £3 million. It's unbelievable. Again, for me, I'm surprised it's not more than that. Although I'm not actually, because it's Arsenal, but I've heard of Bremen Bundesliga. Surely a Bundesliga club should be paying more than £3 million if they're saying he's going to be their main keeper. Werder Bremen, yeah, they're in the Bundesliga. How are we getting £3 million for him? You got to be getting more than £3 million. The guy's an international goalkeeper. He's playing in La Liga last season for Valladolid. Should be getting at least like 8-9 million for him. £3 million. There has to be a little sell-on clause there, surely. Ozil started there. Yeah, they've had decent history, Werder Bremen. £3 million, wow. But anyway, listen, they've sold him. We got 6 million for Nuno Tavares. I think we got like 1 or 2 million for Marquinhos. Now, obviously, you need to see Fabio Vieira, Reece Nelson, Sambi Lokonga. Those guys need to be getting sold now because the wage bill needs to be cleared. Random clips. I watched Liverpool. They've good flow, but beatable. I think Liverpool's thing this year, their MO is going to be they're going to outscore teams. I think Liverpool will concede goals this year, but I think they think their attack is just going to rip teams to pieces, which it probably will. The only thing I would say with Liverpool, they don't have a lot of squad depth at the moment. You look at Cody Gakpo, he's their only real left winger. Ekitike at the moment is their only real striker. For Salah, I mean, the cover's probably Chiesa, but they definitely could do with another attacking player, maybe even 2, where we're quite well covered. Maybe striker, we don't have great cover for Gyökeres. Henry said, you've said availability is key. Partey gave us 45%. Now we signed Zubomendi, want to buy top clubs, yet you're unsure he's better than someone really fit. Love you, but let's move past the Arteta dislike. Okay. Listen, I respect you, bro. Honestly, I'm always willing to have a debate. I say all the time, this channel is an open platform. Call me out on things as long as it's respectful. We keep it moving. My thing is this, bro. Partey last season, I know what you're saying. Overall, his numbers were not great. Nobody can ignore that. Partey did not play enough football for Arsenal. But last season, he played. How many league games did he play out of 30? He played 35 league games out of 38, right? And he was pivotal in the Champions League running. Now, obviously there's other seasons where it hasn't happened for him, but I'm just going off his most recent season. 35 games out of 38 and 12 in the Champions League, 4 in the EFL Cup, 1 in the FA Cup. He played 52 games last season. He had a very, very good season for us. So I've got to go off the season that is the most recent, 50 plus games. Now, I'm not saying, by the way, that Zubomendi isn't better than him, but I'm saying at the moment, I don't know if he is better than him. You know, I don't know if he is better than him, but time will tell. We'll give him the time to adapt. Definitely deserves that. He's a quality player, but is he better than Partey? Time will tell. You know, time will tell. Hopefully he is. If he is, we're flying. You know, because Partey was at a very high level. Right, let's finish off, people, with some waffle settings. Let's get the Cone Man back. Why didn't you tell him that when you met him? Yeah, hi, Mikel. You know I call you the Cone Man in when I do press conference reaction. I just wondered your thoughts on that. Yeah, can we have a word down here, Mr. Shaw? Yeah, no, outside of the press conference room. Tell him what you really think. Imagine if I said, listen, Mikel, I tend to call you the Cone Man, but some of the guys call you Lego Head. What's your thoughts on that? Anyway, let's move on, people. We're back. Arsenal against Leeds. It's that time, people. Mickey Rouse, the boss. Cone Man music is back. Cone Man music to the world and back. Lift that title. I'm telling you. I'll get the Babs treatment. I'll get the Babs treatment, man. They'll take me outside and say, listen, don't come back. Don't come back. Anyway, you know what I mean? You'd be kicked out forever. It was funny what somebody said the other day. They think it's the streets. They want me to square up to him, have it out with him. But yeah, let's hear what he had to say. Usually the pre-game one is quite a slow one, which isn't always great, but we'll get through the waffle. Let's hear what he had to say. Mikel Arteta pre-Leeds. On the Havertz injury, he's certainly not fit for this match. Unfortunately, he picked up an injury. We don't really know the extent of it. I think we need a bit more time and more tests. After that, we'll have clarity. There's a story going around online that it's not his ACL, which would be a massive plus because ACL obviously could be 8, 9, 10 months. If it's MCL, maybe you're looking at 3 months, which would be a lot better, but it obviously looks like it's not good, the fact they're having to do so many tests. Curtis, would you cut your hair off if we win the Prem and the Champions League? I mean, you might as well say there's no point cutting your hair off because we ain't winning the Prem and the Champions League, are we? You know? But you never know. I might cut the hair off, man. You know what? As you get older, man, the cane rows are a bit difficult. You know, the do-rag at night and all that. Sometimes you just want to you go on holiday, you jump in the swimming pool, you try not to get your hair too wet. Listen, the hair might come off anyway. I might turn up with the Jude Bellingham high top fade next summer. Who knows, you know? As you get older, you need an easier life. Sometimes when I'm getting my hair plaited, I'm like, you just don't need this, do you? It's hurting. You know, yeah, man. Yeah, I see Jordan just cut off the dreads, man. You know what I'm saying? And his dreads were way long down his, you know what I mean, past his shoulders and that. So yeah, man. I might cut them off. Who knows? Who knows? We'll see. But anyway, let's move on. Is it a flare-up of his knee injury? I prefer not to talk about specifics, but he's not fit. What kind of scenario could it be? He said, I don't know. The worst case scenario is he cannot play tomorrow. How Kai is handling it mentally. He said mentally he's in a good place. He's a strong boy, very committed. He had an incredible recovery from the hamstring surgery. I think he'd never had an injury before. Yeah, there's a shot, mate. Players who are never injured come to Arsenal and then you're cutting them open left, right, and centre. You know what I mean? Which seems to be the case at Arsenal. Yo, brother, yo, man ain't too old, bro. Nah, listen, we'll see. You never know, man. Maybe the hair will change. You know, maybe we cut off. I come back looking like Bellingham pre-season. Who knows, people? Curtis, you realise how lucky this community is to have a representative in Arsenal. Yeah, man. Listen, that's like I just think that's a good thing. You got to maintain that. You know, it's not about being corporate. You just realize you got to act a certain way, innit? You know what I mean? When you're at work or you're in an office, you're not going to act like you're in the streets, you know? I think it could be quite a bad injury, but if it's not an ACL, then it's a little bit positive. On Ben White and Norgaard, Christian won't be in the squad with Ben. Let's see how he reacts. Then we decide. Christian will be another week or so. On links to Eberici Eze, there's nothing to comment. I can never talk about anything that's not part of our group or club yet. We know he will be. How important it is to get a sense of a player wants to be at Arsenal. That's number one. They want to be with us. They feel something special coming to us. The person, what personality they're going to bring, the rest, yeah, blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. Curtis, you ain't outside. Even Iverson ditched the Kane Rose. You're right, bro. You're right, bro. Even Iverson ditched him. If it's better if they grew up supporting Arsenal, the better the feeling, the stronger the feeling. I think the better always because it brings a different edge. And if it was always the plan for Gyökeres to play for an hour on his debut, it depended on how the game developed. Every game brings different challenges, opportunities. The game was very demanding physically, became really open for different reasons. We decided that at that moment he needed to come off. We had Kai on the bench to come and change the game. It's mad he got injured. And if Victor is ready to go again, yes, he is. He's very, very enthusiastic. He trained really well this week again. He's had another week under his belt. He looks in a really good place. On Leeds United, he said, very impressed. I've been watching them, what they did in pre-season and on Monday. Let's skip it. I'm being creative from set pieces. Iverson brought them back, though, still rocking them. Did he bring them back? Yeah, he did, didn't he? I thought he still had them. Yeah, these questions are terrible. I'm telling you, I'm not even bantering, right? I asked better questions than these. I said to Arteta, after 3 second-place finishes, do you feel you're under pressure if you don't win a trophy this season? That's a better question than any of these. Listen, he got out of it as a politician would, but these questions are a waste of time. I might as well end the stream now. We're not going to learn on being creative from set pieces. Look at the start of this answer. That creativity comes from different angles and in every phase of play. We tried to do that. Like, I feel like I'm in a science lesson. You know what I mean? Trying to draw a right angle and nah, man, skip it. I'm creating a big atmosphere at the Emirates. It's always very special. Everyone's excited. Yeah. On Leeds United, I mean, he ain't going to say, is he? Yeah, them scrubs from the Championship, we're going to smash them tomorrow and Gyökeres going to get a hat-trick. He's going to say, incredible club, incredible history, big city, special place, one club. Boring. On Madueke's potential impact. Any creative player who can unlock situations from close situations, creating that uncertainty. Skip it. On managing injuries to Timber and Jesus on Jurian, we have to manage his load. He's been out for a long time again. Comes from a long-term injury. We had a long week. We have to manage the load on that. We've decided to take a little bit of training down, especially that day in the open session. Gabby is doing super well. He looks in a really good place. Obviously, it's a massive injury. We might need to come from that in a strong way. He's in the right place and strong strides. I'm making our counterattacks more effective. People saying pause. Yeah, he's saying manage the load. I got to be honest. That is a bit wild. I'm making our counterattacks more effective. Look at the state of this answer. Honestly, do I even want to get into that? He's talking about the heart rate. When your heart rate is 180 to make that pass, it's not the same as when you've been resting after a set piece. Every situation is different. I'm not going to put you through the pain of reading that. What it's been like to work with Berta. The great thing is ownership has always been the same. They've been super supportive. With Andrea now, as expected, as someone who is extremely professional. Boring. How the team can evolve. Yeah, here we go. Pokemon questions again. A few things I won't express here. No, that's great. Keep it a secret. On David Raya's stature as a goalkeeper, he's very big and very brave. He's not that big, mate. He's 6 foot. I'm taller than him. So he ain't that big compared to Donnarumma and them guys. I ain't even reading that either. If we're sending out a statement with our transfer business, I think we are showing the ambition that we want to do and that we are here to win major trophies. Listen, bro, I love it when you say things like that, because if it don't happen, I'm going to say, you said it. I didn't say it. You said it. Keep evolving, improving every single year. Does it bring extra pressure to him? The motivation for me is, that's a good question. How we can be better, how we can continue to evolve to win more football matches with bigger margins, how we can bring the people that we have closer to us more connected. He thinks we're a Bluetooth, Wi-Fi signal. I think the players we already have are incredible. The ones that we already signed, I think they are players that are going to connect with our people and make them proud. Ah, dear. On Trossard's contract situation, I prefer not to. It's not my duty. I'm really, really happy with Leo. That situation has been resolved in a really great way. I think he deserves our recognition, and we are really happy to have him. If there will be a few players leaving, it might be speculation. The good players always have options to go. Leo was very clear from the beginning that he wanted to go here. The club was very unclear. When Leo was here, I was very clear. I wanted him here. At the end, good outcome. Well, I don't. All I heard is here, there, and everywhere. What kind of waffle is this? Someone Google Translate. Ask Grok how you translate this. What is? They asked him if a few players will be leaving. He started talking about Trossard. Leo was very clear from the beginning. He wanted to go here. Surely you would say stay here. The club was very clear. When Leo was here, I was very clear. I wanted him here. I told you, you can't tell me this ain't a rapper. Mickey Ross, track 5 off the new album, Port of Miami, Coleman Music. I ain't got a clue what he's saying. Absolutely haven't got a clue what he's saying. Imagine being in these press conferences. You'd fall asleep. And if Kai's injury has influenced our business, he said it was accurate. I think it was very clear when I said that it wasn't done. Obviously, we were very active to look at the possibilities that could come. We are not reacting to anything. We've been very prepared and understand what we could do. We've decided this is the moment to do it. On if getting one more in will complete the squad, he said, I don't know, because to complete the squad, we have to see the in and the out. It's still a long time in the window. Wow, this press I'm so glad that's the last question. On Zubimendi playing for both teams in open training. It was an element of that, it was an element as well of load. Pause. He missed a couple of training sessions before Man United with illness. Obviously, the game took a lot out of him. We wanted to manage it. End it. Get that off my screen. I want to apologize because that is painful. You can see why I call this guy Coleman Music speaking waffle. He speaks waffleese. It's a different language. What is he? I've just read all that. I don't really know what he said. The Trossard explanation was just, it sounded like a 4-year-old in nursery. I didn't have a clue what he was trying to say. Anyway, let me get out of here. I've got a headache after that. Thomas Frank apparently crying about not getting Eze. I saw something. He goes, oh, players who don't want to be here, we don't want them here. Well, he don't want to be there, bro. It will be interesting, by the way, if they announce Eze tomorrow, whether they drag it out. Because Arsenal are very slow with these deals. So will they drag it out? A comment was on the man said, yo, my comment was on the big screen. Big up, yo, big up moments, man. Big up yourself. Big screen settings, What's the prediction for tomorrow's game? I said 3-0. I said 3-0, Jay. What are you guys saying about tomorrow? I'm going for 3-0. I watched Leeds the other day. Couple good players. I think we'll have too much for them. Eze, apparently, they're saying online he's going to wear the 10 shirt. He won't play tomorrow, but he's going to get the 10, which is fantastic. I'm going for 3-0. 3-1. I'm expecting a clean sheet. I'll be disappointed if we concede. Leeds didn't look great going forward. They got a scrappy penalty against Everton. I'm expecting a clean sheet. 100K special, I'm trying to get sorted now. We're going to try and do it next week. So I'm sending out messages to try and get some people on. 4-0. Big up AHD Gaming. Congrats on 100K. Been here since the Buendia stream, the famous Buendia. That's a goated one. I'm also looking forward to this season. Can Arteta deliver? Took a bit of a break, but I'm back. Big up the C unit. South London Finest going 4-0. I think I expect a minimum 3-goal victory tomorrow. I'm telling you now, we need to smoke them. It's different against United away. You've just got to get the win against Man United. Leeds at home with new signings. The club need a performance. Gyökeres scores. Gyökeres scores. I'm telling you now, he bags. I'm very keen on the Arsenal fan base to stick with Gyökeres because every time he doesn't play well, he's going to get a lot of criticism. But I think Gyökeres will be a massive hit at Arsenal. He's just going to need a bit of time to adapt. I'm going to redirect to Potsy. He's live. Let me try. Half the time when I try and redirect, it doesn't work, but sometimes it does. So hopefully it does. Potsy's live. Right, we'll redirect to Potsy. Our Troops is live as well. If you go and watch Troops, just put C Unit Raid as well. But yeah, we'll redirect to Potsy and obviously put Curtis Shaw Raid, C Unit Raid, and all of that good stuff, man. Big up Normskew said, been watching you from your noisy washing machine. Bro, like I said, man, it was a long way from, there was no studio, no lighting, no soundproof walls, no nothing. The washing machine was rattling in the background, you know what I mean? I'm trying to do a wash along. And the clothes are spinning. Humble beginnings, people, man. Big up Normsky. Big up everyone locked in. I'll redirect to Dan. If you go and watch Troops, still get in the comments and put C Unit Raid as well. Big up to everyone. 4:30 tomorrow. I'll be back. 5:30 kickoff. Arsenal against Leeds. Big up. Enjoy your Friday. See you